Happy Thursday, everyone. December 21st, 2023. We are almost done with the year 2023. What a year it has been. I am here with your friend Andy, who is also my friend Andy, and very excited to talk with him about what he is doing to get ready for the bull market. Okay, and I want you guys to pay special attention to this. First off, hit the like button, please, and comment. What do you do for Christmas? Go ahead and comment that. That'll be kind of interesting to see. And good to see you, Kyle, Charles. Good to see you all. Always a great time. I also forgot to share this with my community, so I'm going to try to multitask and do that while I'm talking here. But I'm excited to have Andy on because I'll be totally honest. I have not been paying attention to the crypto world the way that I should have been. Honestly, I'm a little burned out by crypto, a little burned out on DeFi. Just even today, I was going through some old projects that I was trying to figure out how to claim what was left in there. And it was so frustrating. And I was getting so angry. And I'm like, why did I even get into this project? So I'm kind of on I'm kind of negative towards crypto right now, but I know the bull market is coming and I know it will behoove you to be well positioned for this bull market that's coming. So today I'm bringing on Andy. Tomorrow I'm bringing on Crypto Sensei, and I want them. They're paying more attention to this than I am. Okay, so I want to bring them on. We can, squeeze out their expertise, and we can get ourselves in good positions. We're not going to follow what they do because they're not financial advisors, but we're going to listen to what they do and just kind of see if that might be a good strategy for us. So. Let's see. We got some comments here. Andy, while I'm kind of going through some comments, could you please introduce yourself? Most people know you. If they're in my community, you've been on here many, many times. But for those who don't know you, please tell us about yourself, your friend Andy.
Hello. Hi, it's me, your friend, your pal, your compadre, Andy. If you don't know who I am, you should check out my channel. You just type in your friend Andy into YouTube and I'll say hi to you.
I'll post a link too.
My channel is primarily crypto with a focus on crypto passive income. And I submit to you, James, that the bull market has already begun. It has already started.
Controversy.
A year ago, in the beginning of this year, in January, the entire crypto market was $857 billion in total market cap. And as of this moment, as we talk, it's 1.726 trillion. So we've added almost $1 trillion in the past 365 days. And looking at my portfolio and looking at Bitcoin and looking at everything else, I think we are in the very early stages of the next bull run. So, James, it's time to wake up, my friend. It's time to arise from your slumber and journey to the land of crypto yet again. Go on an adventure with me. Come along. The water's fine.
Okay, Andy, maybe you can help us out with this. Let me know in the comments who else is just kind of burned out by crypto and just like, man, I'm just burned out by all of it. There was a ledger exploit. There was an exploit in some of my NFT contracts, and I'm just like, blah. I'm just tired of it. Andy, what do you say to people who are burned out by crypto? The bear market was too tough for them. They're throwing in the towel. What do you say to get them back going?
I mean, I am totally excited, and I'm revitalized. I am pumped up right now, and I feel like if you're not pumped up, and I don't want to like try to harsh anyone's vibe here, but maybe it's not actually for you, or maybe you're not as not as big of a fan of it as you thought you were. I mean, certainly there is an element of like real burnout's real, and there is an element where even though if it's something you do truly enjoy and want to be a part of, you can actually get disinterested for a time. But if that is the case, and you are actually truly all about crypto, and you just happen to be burned out, then I would suggest you just see what's happening in the space right now. See what's emerging. You don't need to like FOMO into anything. You don't need to buy into anything. You don't need to do anything crazy, but just start taking the temperature of the room. And if you're like me, who is a big nerd about this stuff and who does love crypto and who is even still excited about it, all through the bear market. Well, I have like a new sense of energy has awoken within me, and I am just pumped up, fired up. What's coming in 2024, I think, is going to melt some faces, and so I think it's still not too late. It's still early. So the decisions you make, the choices you make, the amount of energy you focus into the space right now will pay huge dividends over the next 6 to 24 months if you play it right.
Okay. No, that's helpful. And maybe too, one of the things I've been thinking, and maybe you can correct me if you disagree, but if you're kind of burned out by crypto in general, you're burned out by DeFi, you can dip your toe in just a little bit. Like, again, Andy, you've been one that has just convinced me many times, hey, just buy some Bitcoin. That's not stressful. That's not too difficult. Buying some Bitcoin, you can do it even on like Robinhood. Okay. It's very, very easy. It's not self-custody there, but that's another topic for another day. But if you're burned out by all these crazy plays, you've lost a bunch of money, maybe just start with something easy. Just get some Bitcoin, buy some Bitcoin, and then that's your exposure to crypto. I think you'll do really well. Andy, what do you think about that strategy?
I mean, I'm a Bitcoin mega bull. It's the predominant portfolio position. I have 42% of my entire portfolio is Bitcoin. And if you had just been buying Bitcoin during this bear market, I mean, Bitcoin is up 163% year to date. So you could have just been dollar cost averaging, buying regularly, buying stupid old boring Bitcoin, which is not stupid or boring for the record. And you would be up right now by a considerable margin with doing nothing, just having it automated, just like that. No effort other than the money going into it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if you think that crypto has an exciting future to some degree and you don't want to miss out on it, but you are burned out or you just don't want to get into the trenches again, you don't want to get into the nitty gritty. Again, none of this is financial advice. You do whatever you feel is right for you. But if I was in that position, I would just be buying Bitcoin, maybe buying Ethereum too, and then just forgetting about the rest. Because the returns you get with Bitcoin, if the people like me are correct about its trajectory over the next decade, the performance is going to be massive. Maybe not as big as your favorite coin that's ranked 500 or 1,000 on the crypto, CoinGecko charts, but certainly more movement than like the S&P 500, which I still love. But so it's all about perspective and relative movements and all that good stuff.
Yeah, love it. Maybe can you talk about what you think is in store for Bitcoin for the next 10 years?
Oh, I mean, let's just talk about what's in store for Bitcoin in 2024 and 2025, because that's enough. That's a whole video right there. We are about to embark into a year where there is a conflux of events that are all happening at the exact same time. A perfect storm, if you will, for Bitcoin is brewing currently. We have if you haven't been following the news, we have Bitcoin spot ETFs waiting to get approved by the SEC here in the U.S. from a variety of investment companies, namely BlackRock and others. Fidelity is another big one. And when those start getting approved, that the amount of inflow that is possible to the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, of potential inflow into Bitcoin and crypto space at large. So that's one thing. Also coming in 2024 is the Bitcoin halving. In March or April, the amount of Bitcoin created every single day will be cut in half instantly. The moment the code hits the correct block number, as soon as that happens, it gets cut in half. And if we combine that with the same demand or increased demand, but yet there's half as much supply available per day, supply and demand is very, very basic. If there's not as much to go around, but everybody still wants just as much or wants more, the price is going to go up. 2024 is a presidential election year in the U.S.
Ooh.
Traditionally, presidential election years are good for the stock market, and they've been good for crypto because politicians love to promise things, and the government tries to fulfill these things and make things happy and good for everybody and make elections look really great. Combine that with a Federal Reserve that is going to be, if not keeping rates the same, reducing rates over the next year, When you reduce the rates, the interest rate, money flows back into the stock market, flows back into high on-risk assets like crypto. And then combine all that with possibly and probably and almost certainly QE, quantitative easing, meaning we're going to turn on the money printers again in a big way and start printing money in the U.S. here again. And all that goes into the stock market, into the crypto markets. So that is just a handful of things that are happening in 2024 that are all extraordinarily bullish for Bitcoin and crypto's trajectory, to the tune of last bull cycle, we saw just over $3 trillion of a total market cap in all of crypto. And I think that that's like bare minimum this cycle. I would imagine 5 trillion, 6 trillion is more of where we should be looking, if not 10 trillion plus. So possibilities are kind of endless, but it's a lot of things happening all in 1 year.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with all that. That's why, yeah, Bitcoin. I have been DCAing Bitcoin. I have multiples Bitcoins now, so I'm excited about that. Andy, how do you think about it? One of the things I've been thinking of, and I want to get to some audience questions here. So, audience, get your questions going. How do you think about when are you going to sell? Like how? I always struggle with, but it could go up more. When are you going to be taking profits, or how are you kind of looking at with Bitcoin in particular? If we go up to 100K, are you going to sell some, or are you waiting for 1 million, or what's kind of your strategy there?
So that's always a work in progress. Like in an ideal world, I wouldn't be selling any, or at least most of my Bitcoin. I would just continue holding it indefinitely. And what I would be selling, for me, and the way I set up my portfolio strategy, is I will be selling all my other positions. Because 60% of my portfolio is altcoins, non-Bitcoin coins in crypto. And the majority of that 60% of crypto positions are not top 100 crypto companies or crypto projects. They are 100, ranked 500, ranked 1,000, ranked 2,500. And I have a smattering of those, and I'm expecting many of those to do 10x's, 25, 100x's, 1,000x's, maybe 5 or 10,000x's. And I'm expecting a bunch of them to fail, but I'm expecting some of them to do those crazy moves. And then I take profits both into my own pocket in my bank account, but also into Bitcoin. But I don't know. We'll see how high it goes and where it goes, and I might change my tune on some of that. And I also might look at this cycle and see how it's shaping up, where we might see new all-time highs, and I might take some profits from Bitcoin, move into alts, because alts always follow Bitcoin, ride those up, and then move it back into Bitcoin while simultaneously taking some out and putting profits in my pocket. So lots of things, but I mean, Bitcoin, again, I'm an ultra bull. I think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen in the next 5 years, but 10 to 20 years from now, I think so. So I want to have plenty of Bitcoin when or if that does happen. And then I can just do what the ultra wealthy do. I can borrow against my assets, pay myself, borrow against them again when it goes up, several years later, and just continue the cycle.
Okay. All right. That sounds like strategy. Yeah, questions coming in. Audience, keep the questions coming in hot. Me and Andy, we could just talk for hours about our stuff, but we'd love to get what you guys are watching us, so we'd love to get what you have to talk about. James Amsis coming back online. Those are the types of DeFi stuff that I just, those are so, they go out of commission, then they come back, then they change their name, then they're having regulatory issues, then they have to shift to a new contract, and withdrawals are disabled. And honestly, I'm just kind of done with it. It's too much. Maybe after Christmas, I'll be more cheery about those things. Vaporfy. Yeah, good to see you, Green Llama. I'm glad that you were there. Vaporfy was frustrating today because AVAX gas fees have been so high. It was like $70 to do an AVAX transaction. And that bull market, to your point, Andy, those are bull market vibes when you have gas fees going up so high. So more crypto, more. Yes. Go subscribe to Andy. If you're not already subscribed to Andy, I would like everyone that is here to just go and subscribe. And congratulations, Andy, on your 100,000 subscribers.
Thank you. That was a
You
very
you
exciting yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, you work very hard at it. So I will say this publicly. Andy works way harder than I do. He is way more diligent, puts a lot more thought into what he's doing. He deserves growth a lot more than I do. So go follow him for sure.
Maybe specific to YouTube.
Yes.
James works very hard across a whole bunch of things. I just might put more effort specifically into YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
We're where we are in life for a reason, James.
Yes. Yep. Even your lights. It's like, man, I gotta do something with my setup to look more cool, like Andy.
Whenever I come visit you in person,
that's right.
we'll do a full studio makeover.
That's right. I'll give you my credit card and say, hey, whatever is the limit. So
hey, I have converted you to the nicer camera, and we now have the same microphone because I converted you to the Shure MV7. So hey,
very true.
Progress.
Very true. Awesome. Michael, welcome to the community. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you being here. I'm tired of trying to depend on projects to borrow funds for a return. Yeah. Blech. Forget that. Find the revenue streams. COQ paid my auto insurance this month. Got in for 4 days and sold. There you go. Take your profits. If you're going to get into crazy stuff, when it goes up, take your profits. Take your profits for sure. Maybe get to something about exit strategies during the interview. Maybe it's on the agenda. Yes. So we did kind of talk about that. Another strategy I do is I dollar cost average out of things sometimes. As things are going up, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Whatever the price is, I want to take profits on this. It's higher than I think it should be. I'm going to just sell 10% once a week for the next 10 weeks. I do things like that sometimes to take profits. I am terrible at calling highs and lows and all that. I'm like, it's the opposite of what I say, I feel like most of the time. So
yeah, I really don't suggest anybody try to time when the tops are and then sell everything on the tops and stuff. You're almost always going to get it wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, dollar cost averaging out is a great strategy, which I do like. I also like just laddering out instead of once you're in profit with dollar cost averaging out, you might just be selling once a week or whatever on a regular schedule, and then you just kind of work your way out of the position, and that's great. Or what I tend to do is I make spreadsheets of what I think are all reasonable price targets for the specific things I'm in, both conservative and higher risk price targets. And then I assign percentages of my overall bag that I will sell at each of those. And I just stick to the script and I just ladder out over those price targets. I would suggest whatever you do, you write down or you build out a plan now and do not wait until the bull market is in full force, because when you do that, you're going to be dictated by FOMO and by your emotions, and you're going to make almost certainly all the wrong decisions because emotions are not reliable. Analytical, logical thinking ahead of time is reliable. And even if you miss out on the highest of the highs, taking profit while you're up is better than losing it all when you're down.
Yes. Amen. Amen to that. Kyle says, I just ordered my Hive Mapper with Andy's code. Thanks, Andy. So
Hive Mapper
very
has just been amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you in that one?
No, I am not.
Are you in Demo?
Nope. None of them.
Demo you should definitely get into, because with a Tesla, you don't even need to buy the device.
I know. Pocket has even been Pocket's given me his referral code, and it's been on my to-do list. Set Demo up in my Tesla. I'm so sorry, Pocket. I will do it. Here, let me raise the priority level. I have my to-do list.
My friend and also fellow YouTuber, who you should definitely check out his channel, Crypto Jar. He does really great tutorials and other videos about crypto. He has been in Demo longer than me, and he just posted in Sleep Money Club, my community, that he's made $20,000 from his $300 Demo device so far. I've made about $3,500 or so with mine, but it's a $300 device. It's like, why would you not run this thing in your car? It's no brainer.
Yeah, Pocket says, I was gonna say, I told you, just install the app now. Okay, is that all I have to do is install the app? How much money am I
pretty sure with a Tesla, that's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right, I will do that as soon as this video is over. I will be doing that. So thank you guys for staying on me on that. I'm gonna pick up 2 demos after Christmas. Very cool. Let's see. We got Decade Investor here, Andy.
My friend Colin.
Good to see you calling. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you guys in person again. It's been a while, so appreciate you guys. It has been too long. I will never sell Bitcoin. There you go. Never will sell Bitcoin.
Amen.
50-50 or 80-20 for alts. Yep. My two biggest crypto gurus, high gas fees, very bullish for AVAX. AVAX validators eating. Yeah, this is all reminding me of the bull market. These were the same types of problems that we had. Here's a good one. Andy, what are a few of the high risk plays that you were talking about? Talk to us outside of Bitcoin. Let's kind of go down. We started Bitcoin as kind of the granddaddy, right? And then where do you kind of go from there? What's your kind of next tier? I know Flux will be in there. Where does Neoxa fall in that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Flux is my number 2 position in my portfolio. Neoxa is my number 3. Neoxa is currently ranked, I think, around 1,000 on the CoinGecko chart, so that is definitely a higher risk, more volatile play. But I do have a pretty sizable position. I've got 13 of those nodes operating right now. It's a really fascinating GameFi play, which I think crypto gaming, blockchain gaming is going to be a just absolutely massive narrative going into this next bull run. So I want lots of exposure to that. And what's cool about Neoxa is on one side, you have a bunch of crypto projects that are building games, which I do have a handful of those that I really like Playable. But on the other side, it's cool to have a crypto project where they don't make any games. They just enable existing games to be crypto enabled. And that's what Neoxa is doing. They have Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto and Dota 2 and a bunch of other ones where you just play the game and you earn Neoxa. And they're also working on getting assets onto their chain for those various games and stuff. Number 4 on my in my portfolio is Caspa. Currently, I'm pretty bullish on Caspa. It's one of the few. In my portfolio that's actually in the top 100. That's not. What is this? Hey, there we go. Get that app.
Demo downloading. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
No, you're good. Yeah, and I will say about my portfolio too. Again, 42% is Bitcoin. I like to have my one big anchor asset. So if my entire portfolio, everything else went to zero, hopefully Bitcoin wouldn't, and I still maintain 42% of my portfolio. And then I almost hold nothing that's in the top 100. Everything else is, smaller stuff. My idea there, my strategy is I want those big movers to then take profits into Bitcoin and in my pocket. And I'm not really interested in Solana could, if everything went really well, it could do a 10x from here. And that's cool, but I really want 100x's or 1000x's. And I'm willing to watch lots of my positions go to zero in an effort that a handful of them will do those, magical 100x's or 1000x's. And so far, I've had lots of success with that strategy. Doesn't mean it's a one size fits all. Doesn't mean it'll work this time around. Don't know, but I feel very comfortable if my entire portfolio was just my Bitcoin position. So number 4 is Caspa, and then number 5 is Block Square, which is a really cool RWA real world asset. It's a real estate tokenization platform. It's super small. I think it's ranked also in the 1,000 or so on the CoinGecko charts. They have a super cool team that I was able to meet at the Flux conference in Florida a few months ago. So I'm pretty big on that one. Plus they have a staking element, and if it has a passive income element to it, Andy is interested.
Is this the right one? This Blocksquare.io?
That's Blocksquare, yep. So that's my top 5, at least in terms of, I'll give you one more so you can get 5 non-Bitcoin positions. And then number 6 on the charts in my portfolio is Clore, another compute platform, decentralized compute. And they have a full marketplace operating where you can put your machines on it, and you can rent out machine compute time and everything. It's working. It's super cool. But that one's also small. It's ranked at 300 to 400 on the crypto charts. So again, with the exception of Caspa, my top 5 non-Bitcoin positions are all ranked 100 or lower on the charts.
Okay. No, some gems there. Guys, those are some good stuff. So let's see. Does anybody have any questions about any of those? Do you need any of those repeated? Again, do not just follow Andy blindly. Go look into what these projects are doing. See if you like what they're doing. Again, what tends to happen is people just are going to take that list and then just go buy exactly what Andy had. And then if one of them goes down, they'll contact Andy, or they'll probably contact me first. Why'd you have Andy on your channel? And then they'll probably contact Andy and say, hey, why'd you say that was gonna go well? So please
One of
don't do
the
that.
easiest ways for you to just lose money in crypto is to blindly buy what other people are talking about. And that's not because, what James might be talking about or what I'm talking about might go down in price, which is very possible. All my picks could be totally wrong, and you could just invest in them, and then along with me, we could watch our ships sink. But it's the real reason most people lose money by doing that is because they've done no thinking of their own as to why they're buying into it. They don't understand what it is. They don't understand the risks. They don't know what the best timing is for that in terms of the overall bull run, the narrative, specifically that niche or that space for that company or project. When you don't know any of that stuff and your only entry into that is that someone you liked made a video about it, and you don't know when they're buying or when they're selling and stuff like that, you're completely ignorant, completely uninformed. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to hold it for the wrong time. You're going to buy it at the wrong time. You're not going to even know what it's doing in the future. So I highly recommend you don't do anything anyone says when it comes to buying into things. And instead, you take all the time you could be buying those things and use that to just learn about stuff, learn some of the basics, learn what this specific project or company is, and decide. Ask yourself questions. Is this a viable product? Can they have ways to actually bring real revenue in? Is there real utility here? Do I see actual people who are not crypto nerds like me adopting this in the future if that's, the segment of the market it's going after? So just be, critical thinking here, folks.
Yep, absolutely. And guys, I just want to show this is some of my frustration. All right. So I got the demo app. Yes, I'm multitasking. Then I add my MetaMask wallet, invalid password on my MetaMask wallet. And then I'm going to have to reset my wallet. I'm going to have to re-import my keys. And it's just never that easy. Never that easy.
It's getting easier and easier, though, every time.
Yes.
But James, by the time it is that easy, which it will be one day, all this upside will be virtually erased.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is why not everyone does it, right? That's why not everyone has demo connected to their Tesla, is because not everybody knows what MetaMask is. And so I will try to do that when we get off here. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question. What do you think about mining Bitcoin, Andy?
Well, for those who have watched my channel, you would know that I have invested over $100,000 in the Bitcoin mining so far, so I like it. I'm a fan of it. But I have a bunch of mixed feelings about it in general. I can't give you like a one across the board answer of everyone should be mining Bitcoin, because I don't believe that. I don't agree that it's necessarily the greatest way to acquire Bitcoin, although it is in some ways. In other ways, it isn't. If I didn't already have a very sizable amount of Bitcoin myself that I've been just putting my money into direct investing over the years, I would not have gone as heavy into Bitcoin mining as I have. But because I already had that great foundation of just owning Bitcoin, mining makes a lot of sense for me now. But I think mining offers a very interesting and unique value proposition in that there is a real mathematical probability that the amount of money you put into mining, you can actually, if you were to put that money directly into Bitcoin, that amount of Bitcoin you could have bought directly, you can actually maybe mine more than that over the long haul if all the right factors happen at the right times than if you just bought it directly. But also, you're buying into something that will continue paying you Bitcoin dividends, effectively, a Bitcoin income, for as long as the machines are profitable. And the really cool aspect of it is the flipping, the arbitrage aspect, which is bear market prices for Bitcoin miners are depressed. You buy them, even now, they're going to be cheaper than they will be. You buy them when they're cheaper, you operate them, and then in the bull market, you turn around and you flip them for 2x, 5x, or 10x multiplier, and then you still keep all the Bitcoin you mine the entire time you're using them. So there is another element to the profit-making and profit-taking aspect to mining that is fascinating. But I am also just a crypto miner in general, and I love it. I've literally made hundreds of thousands of dollars with mining, spec mining stuff. Mining is incredibly powerful, but it's not for the faint of heart, and it's also not for the non-tech savvy, because you have to tinker with it and play with it, and you have to babysit it sometimes, and you also have to be willing to point rigs at various new things as they pop up, and then they might not work out, and you get disheartened and you give up on it. Instead, you have to persist and keep trying. It's not it's passive in some ways. My Bitcoin mining is really passive, but when you get into like the nitty gritty of other things, it's not as passive as it seems on the surface.
Yeah. I would say it's best if you have some interest in the tech itself as well. If it's kind of fun for you going in and messing with the, the hash rate and things like that. If that sounds interesting to you, like, oh, I would enjoy that. Some people really enjoy that. Then Bitcoin mining would be great for you, I think. But if you're just wanting passive things, you're not wanting to mess with hardware, things like that, then some of these projects that are doing mining for you and you get an NFT like fraction mining, we're both a part of. Those might be good options for you as well. But I think it's kind of fun. I have a couple. I got them from a Bitcoin merch, but they sent a couple of these little tiny jackpot miners. It's been kind of fun just to mess around with. It's fun having sitting on your desk and just having it go. And somebody's like, "Oh, what's that?" And you're like, "Oh, it's mining Bitcoin there." Even though it's not really actually making any money, but it's kind of fun. All right, the comments are blowing up. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Sometime I should just have Andy on my channel and I won't even be here. Just let Andy talk with you guys. When are you going to be Jim the DGen again, James? It might take me getting bored. That's what really got me into crypto in the first place, was getting bored with traditional investments. I've been having a really good time recently. I've been having a really good time with these vending machines. I've been going around, driving around, meeting with apartment complexes and saying, "Hey, do you want a vending machine?" And I don't know, it's just been kind of fun. So that's what I've been up to here recently. But I'm sure when I get bored, when I see everybody posting how much they made from this node project and that node project, I'm sure at some point I will be back. I don't know how much of it I'm going to talk about the DGen stuff. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it on YouTube as much. I just feel like that has not been a net positive for a lot of people, but I'm sure I'll be back to it at some point. So stay tuned. Let's see. What would Bitcoin mining be something you guys would look into as someone who doesn't have any Bitcoin right now? I would say start with just buying some Bitcoin. Start there. And then if you want to, Bitcoin mining is more complicated than just buying Bitcoin. So I would start with buying, accumulating, and then, maybe you can talk about miners after that. Let's see. Do you think it's still early to get into demo? When do you think it's getting too late?
It's going to be too late if demo keeps doing well and keeps existing over the next 6 to 9 months. Once we are actually officially in the early stages or even later stages of euphoria and pandemonium, that'll be too late. You want to be in the last cycle. There's lots of things that are good analogies for demo or Hive Mapper, but one of the best ones I feel like is Helium. Helium miners, when they were first launched in the bear market before this most recent bull run, they weren't making that much, or they were making enough to be notable, and it was kind of fun. They were getting more and more profitable, and that was the time to be buying into it. And then once the actual bull run was in full swing, and everybody was just like paying like $1,500 to $1,000 to $5,000 to buy one of these, these Helium hotspots on eBay, that's when whoops, like that. It's far too late to get in then. So get into something like Demo or Hive Mapper now. And full disclosure, these could fail tomorrow. Like this is it's crypto, so there's no like safety net here. It's still risky. However, if we go into a massive bull run and people are just looking for everything that's profitable, everything that has interesting idea, Demo and Hive Mapper both are real companies with great teams behind them, with a actual truly viable product to sell. Not the miners, not the devices, the actual thing that they produce, all the data they can sell, all the maps they can sell to real companies and bring in real revenue. Once this, people get wind of how cool these ideas are and they see how profitable the things are, which I'm expecting to be even more heightened at that point, then everybody's going to it's going to go full on FOMO. And at that point, you want to be like working on exiting out of it. When your uncle you haven't heard from in like 5 years is sending you a text asking you if it's a good time to buy a demo, run for the hills.
Sell demo. Yep, absolutely. Andy, how much do you allocate to your long shots?
Typically very small percentages. I mean, many of the things that are in my top 5 list right now were all started as maybe like 5% or 1% of my entire portfolio, and they've just grown. So, if I see something new that's ranked, let's say 1,000 plus on the crypto charts, but I have a cool idea and I like the potential, I see a lot of potential in it, then I might dedicate 1% of my entire portfolio to jump into that, because I don't care if 1% goes away forever.
Right.
I do care if 10% or 30% goes away forever. That's important to maintain.
Yep. Absolutely. I would agree with that. That's about what I do too. For long shots, to me, it's better to have several with a little in it than one. If it's a long shot, than having one where you're putting a bunch in. That's the way that I've approached it, because then you can have one that hits and it's like, oh, there you go, I just made a whole bunch of money. So that's kind of how I approach that.
And even small amounts, given enough time and making the right choices and in the right market conditions, even small amounts can turn into actual life-changing amounts of money.
Right.
So it's really easy to go, oh, I got to put more and more and more in here, and it's just it's incredibly paramount that you gut check yourself and decide if it's actually a comfortable amount of money that you've put into the thing, where it's comfortable that if it were to go to zero tomorrow, you're like, no big deal. But if you're like, that's a big deal that I lose this money tomorrow, then you've probably overextended yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Other investors I've talked to, they have the sleep test, where if you think about it while you're trying to go to sleep at night, you put too much in. And so I have a billionaire friend, not to name drop because I'm not even going to drop his name.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett. He's in Nebraska.
Maybe you've heard of him.
Yes. But he told me, he said, if I can't sleep at night, I know I put too much in. And that stuck with me. He told me that maybe 10 years ago, and it stuck with me for a long time. So I always try that. Let's see. Since you are so big into nodes, are you familiar with reaction? Yep. I am not.
I run 3 reaction nodes. It's insanely risky. It's ranked 2,500 something on the crypto charts, and the white paper and stuff. What they're trying to do is fairly vague and nebulous. And there've been a few issues in their Discord that give me some pause. But again, I've put, I don't know, $600 into that one or something, which my overall portfolio is $1 million. So what's $600 in comparison to that portfolio? So that's how I would treat something like that percentage, that disparity between the two.
Yep.
It could go move up to position 500 and you could have it, 5,000x on this one, or next week the developers, the Discord's deleted and it doesn't exist anymore. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, before we continue on, we got a lot of great questions still I want to get through. But before we get too far into it, I do want to talk about Sleep Money Club. So when Sleep Money Club is Andy's community. And so when I invited him on, what I told him, I said, I want you to educate, but I also want you to talk about Sleep Money Club, because I think Sleep Money Club offers things that my community does not offer. Again, I'm not reviewing all these different node projects and things like that. That's not what I'm real interested in right now. So I'm not doing that. So if you're real interested in that, if you're like, I love crypto, I want to get into every new node project, or at least know what's going on in there, Andy, tell us a little bit about Sleep Money Club.
Yeah. So Sleep Money Club. Yeah. It's my membership community. It's in Discord. It is a collection of people who are, crypto geeks just like me or you. So if you want to be around a bunch of really savvy, smart, just as geeked out about crypto people as you, like-minded people, then it's great just from that standpoint. But then also you get to chat with me directly and ask me questions. I have a section there. You can ask me anything and chat. You also get to see my entire portfolio, all my position weights, my entire passive portfolio, all written out in a spreadsheet. You get to see everything I'm buying and everything I'm selling, the moment I buy and the moment I sell it. You get to find all these really early plays that we get into before I ever talk about them on Twitter or my newsletter or my YouTube channel, because we're just tossing around ideas at that point. I haven't committed to, do I love this thing? Do I want to talk about this thing yet? Whatever. But we also do things like I've seen Zach in the chat. Zach gets into all kinds of crazy meme coins and kind of higher risk daily trades and stuff and short-term trades. And we've had a lot of people make a lot of money, especially on AVAX meme coins, recently, just making many multiples of the monthly fee just in a day or two. So we have that aspect as well. But then we actually break down income strategies. These are the nodes I like. These are the mining machines I like. This is the staking platforms I like. Here's the returns. Here's how much money it takes. Here's how you actually set it up. And then for projects we're looking at and interested in, we have an entire catalog of in-depth technical deep dives that are written out about exactly what the project is, the tokenomics, how it operates, why you should or should not consider it, full breakdown like that. So we have all those elements, but then we also have a really healthy and thriving community on the other side of the fence. So I'm mostly crypto side, but on the stock side of the fence, doing stock options selling. And our stock options team, they don't do buying. Buying is a crazy high risk proposition, but selling, you can manage your risk. It's a very interesting idea. But the team in Sleep Money Club has made almost $1 million in profit in 2023 selling stock options so far. So basically, it's a community of people who just want to build passive income and build wealth, and we want to talk about the ideas we have and how to do that together. And it's a lot of fun, but it's also totally risk-free. It's like we do a 7-day free trial, so you just try it out, and if you hate it, or you don't like talking to me after all, you decided, oops, I don't like this Andy, he's not my friend, you can cancel within a week and never get charged a dime. So it's totally worth checking out.
Yep, I love that. And I would encourage everyone to do at least the 7-day trial. Go in there, test it out, steal all the ideas, and then if you don't like it, you can cancel before 7 days. But no, the goal is, I think you'll see everything that's in there, and then you'll think, well, $60 a month. This has been my response I've gotten from many people who are in it, is $60 a month. Like, I made that back in the first month. Like, it was easily worth it. I just downloaded Demo, and then it was paid for my membership to Sleep Money Club. So I would recommend everyone head over to that link and at least try out the trial. I'm not going to pressure anyone into actually buying it, but at least check it out. Okay, I will say that. And thank Andy for coming on this channel by subscribing to his YouTube. Again, that's free. You don't have to be stingy with your subscriptions. You can subscribe to multiple. So please do that. So
yeah, and I don't want to give any undue pressure either, and I also don't want to make any promises that I can't fulfill, because there's no guarantees in this life. But most people who join Sleep Money Club and who actually engage and are active and participate in all the things we're talking about make much more than the monthly fee every month very quickly. It's as long as you're actually willing to put in a little bit of the legwork, it's very easy to start making money with all the rest of us, because we're all doing it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yep, absolutely. Charles, if you are here, you are ahead of the game. So few of the general public even care. Yeah, amen. If you're watching this live right now, you are ahead of the game on crypto. Okay, most people have heard of Bitcoin. Beyond that, Ethereum, most people have not heard of Ethereum. I talk to a lot of people in real life, and I just use Ethereum. To me, it's like a everyday word, household word. But I use it and they go, Ethereum, what's that? And I'm like, wow, we are very early into this. So good observation. Interesting perspectives. All I do is chase new node projects, and I made enough in the bear market to retire. So congratulations, Dodger Dog. Yeah, the node projects, the real node projects, not the quasi fake node projects that we became used to last bull market. But yes, the real node projects seem to do very well. I know that, Andy, that's a big part of what you like as well. So
Dodger is a member of Sleep Money Club. And Dodger started with, I'm pretty sure he started at 0 in crypto when he first joined the club. And in the past year that he has been in there hanging out and chatting with all of us, he's gone from 0 in crypto to now, last I checked, because he posted the other day, he's up to making, I think, $800 a day with all the various passive income sources he's doing, which is incredible. And him and Crypto Jar are both in Sleep Money Club, and they're operating a shared node service. So if a Neoxa node, for example, or they don't do Flux yet, or a Block X node, it's too expensive for you to jump into an entire node yourself. You can buy into a share of one with them, and it's something that's currently exclusive to Sleep Money Club.
Very cool. Love that. James, question for you. Are you considered a millionaire if you have $1 million in crypto? No. There's a funny commercial where a guy's looking at his phone and he goes, "I'm a millionaire." No, I'm not. I'm a millionaire. No, I'm not. And that is kind of how crypto goes. I would not consider you have to be kind of careful with crypto, but I would not consider it necessarily valuable until you take your profit. So Bitcoin might be the exception to that because I think it'll hold its value pretty well. But the rest of crypto is so volatile that I wouldn't consider it as part of my net worth unless I was taking it out into some kind of asset that's more stable, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I think of it. I consider Bitcoin a part of my net worth. The rest of it, I don't really consider part of my net worth. Maybe the nodes and the miners I might. But no, good question, Colin. And also, if I needed my crypto money to call myself a millionaire, I probably would do that because it's fun to call yourself a millionaire. So totally get that. I've not invested into any of the GameFi because I feel the space has a lot more to grow, and 99% of the current companies will not be around in 10 years. I think there's truth to that. Yeah. So it's kind of you want to catch it before it hits mainstream, but you don't want to be too early. Or else, like what I found, like Illuvium, for example. I think Illuvium could end up being something really big, but I got in so early that it's like, well, I'm going to have to wait for many, many years before I actually see any profit from that. So, yeah, timing can be difficult for sure.
I think I don't really care if they're going to be around in 10 years, honestly. I think getting in right now into quite a few of the ones that have promise, because I think the narrative is going to be so big in the bull run. You can make a lot of money. And then if any of them happen to exist past the next bull run, then it's all bonus. But I expect to make mucho money just from the speculation around them into the next year and a half.
Yep, absolutely. Talking about the Bitcoin miners, do they need to last 10 years to make you profit?
I mean, there's two ways to look at Bitcoin mining profitability. One is, again, that idea of the money I put in today into the Bitcoin miners. If I just bought Bitcoin, will I get more Bitcoin from the miners than I would have just bought it directly? So that's one way to gauge profitability. The other is with the US dollar. The dollars I put in today, will I get more dollars back? And from that, that's a really easy one. If you look back testing all the data, you almost always get more dollars out of the mining proposition with Bitcoin than you do. Sorry, I just got lost my train of thought. You almost always get more money back than what you put in with the Bitcoin mining if you're doing it going into another cycle because the Bitcoin price goes up so high. But you might not get the actual Bitcoin amount back. So that's the question you have to ask yourself when you get into this. Am I willing to gamble on the getting more Bitcoin back? Or am I just comfortable making a really healthy return on my USD? And if that's the case, it's almost always going to work out that way. But no, you don't need 10 years. So you could buy a miner today, and then if Bitcoin goes high enough in 2024, it'll take you 1 year to be fully in profit to pay it off. It totally is dependent on the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin mining difficulty, and the daily profitability. But last cycle, we saw 3-generation-old Bitcoin machines all of a sudden crazy profitable again. So they didn't have to be newer machines. But I would say most machines you can expect to operate profitably and reliably for 3 to 5 years.
Yep. Another strategy too is that I learned the hard way is buying miners now, and then you could not even mine anything and then just sell them as Bitcoin goes up, and the miners themselves can be an investment. So that's another option. I mean, when the price of Bitcoin goes up, the price of miners goes up with them. So that's another investment way to do it. Or you do both. You mine, you keep the machine on when the price goes up. Okay, I'm going to sell the miner, and I'm going to, before it breaks, then you don't have to worry about replacing your miner, things like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that.
In the 2019-2020 bear market, I was buying components for GPU mining rigs, and I bought like 10 plus of these mining motherboards, and I was buying them on eBay for between $25 to $40 each. When the bull run came around in 2020 and there was so much hype around mining and stuff, I was selling those between $450 to $650 per board on eBay. So the hardware arbitrage is a real opportunity, and it's something you should actually consider, especially with things like mining motherboards or otherwise, that you can buy so cheap in bear markets.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. I'm looking to buy into companies that can last and has a very good team. Yep, absolutely. I think those are looking at the team. I think is a great way to do it. And look at the revenue. Companies run on revenue, so find out if a company's paying something out. Find out, oh, where's the revenue coming to pay for that? There needs to be a clear revenue structure. That's, for example, why I like Flux. It's very clear how Flux is going to make money to pay out what they're doing to keep the network running and things like that. So totally agree. Running nodes at home is cool. Yes, and that is one of the appeals of both mining and running nodes is in some ways it's just cool. It's cool having a miner at your house. It's a good conversation starter for people. They're like, hey, what have you been up to? What's that noise I hear in that back room? And you show them your miner and they're like, wow, this is real neat. And you get to start a conversation. So totally agree. Strike is a good app to use to buy Bitcoin. You can set it to buy a certain dollar amount a day, and it doesn't cost anything for transactions to buy. So yes, I've heard Strike. I've not used it myself, but I've heard other people suggest it. So
Strike is great, and you're supporting a company that is building on the Bitcoin Lightning Network.
There you go. Andy, how do you find new crypto projects to invest in?
A million different ways. I mean, lots of things I talk about on the channel are things that other people mentioned in Sleep Money Clubs. We talk about, try to all come together and bring ideas and stuff. And so lots of that stuff comes from there. As for the sources of those things, when it comes to like specifically proof of work like Mineable and node utility node projects, we check the Bitcoin Talk altcoin announcement forum to see what's being posted each week and see if there's anything new being posted there that actually has interest. Being someone that has not a tiny audience on YouTube and Twitter, I see what people are posting in my replies to my tweets. And then I also go to other accounts that are much bigger than me, or even smaller too, and just see what people are mentioning in those replies and stuff. And then I investigate those. I think also with like smaller content creators on both Twitter and YouTube, just seeing what they're talking about, what hasn't gained momentum yet. There's lots of different ways to do it, but the end of that equation is always going to be the same. You're going to have a huge amount of input, so you have to sort through and decide what is actual input and what is just a bunch of noise. And it's going to take a lot of work to just like look at each one, scroll through it, read about it, figure it out, and then realize it's junk and toss it out and move on to the next one. So there's plenty of information and sources. The real secret sauce is, you taking the time to actually dig through them and see if they pass the gut check.
Yep, absolutely. Chris, between all the, I was going to say, actually, I had a comment too on that last one. Get on crypto Twitter. Honestly, that's where I learn about most new stuff is I just see, follow Andy. You find some people that it's like, oh, they seem to be talking about stuff, and just follow them on Twitter and it'll just pop up. You'll start seeing, like I started seeing Caspa. And I was like, oh, I should look into this Caspa. What's going on with this? So that's a good way as well. Between all the Chrome extension wallets with multiple coins and chains, trying to get a grip on what you actually have is very time consuming. Yes, and shout out to Funny Turo in particular, but the Rabbi Wallet, which is a Chrome extension wallet, is very good, and it does a very good job of showing you what you have on all chains. You don't have to add, one thing I don't like about MetaMask is you have to add tokens, and sometimes you're like secret tokens that you forgot that you had, and then you suddenly see them in there. Rabbi is amazing. Okay, it's made my life a lot easier. If I had Rabbi through the whole bear market, I might not be burned out on crypto right now. I will say that. So go download Rabbi. And thanks, Funny Turo, for pointing that out. We got to let Andy go here pretty soon. So last minute questions. There's like 11 more on here. So we'll get through maybe a few of these. I don't like to go longer than an hour. What do you think about learning and investing in LPs? My answer, this is one part of crypto I do really like, because in every gold rush, there's someone selling pickaxes that makes a fortune, right? And so LPs are the pickaxe of when crypto is booming. So people are going to be making swaps. They're going to be swapping from this to that and the other thing. And so LPs, I am a big fan of that. Andy, what is your take?
I like that, but I don't do any of it. I'm also not terribly knowledgeable about all of it. But yes, the utility of it is very interesting, and I think it's clear what the value add is.
Okay, thank you. Yep. And if you want to learn how to do LPs, there's a whole bunch of YouTubers. I used to focus more on stuff like that. I used to do tutorial videos of here's how you create a liquidity pool token. I don't do as much of that anymore. But there's definitely YouTubers, just YouTube LPs, and you'll get stuff. What do you think of Playable Games? It's been on a tear here recently. They've built some good games, and so I'm excited about them. They're one of the companies I would say there's a lot of people who've told me, a lot of project founders, we're going to do this. And then when you get fast forward a year and I look, you didn't do any of those things that you said you were going to do. Playable Games is one where they said, we're going to do this. And then you fast forward a year and they've actually done a lot of the things that they told me that they were going to do. So to me, that means something. So I'm kind of a fan. I have a bit of Playable, and I've made a lot of money off of Playable. I have 3 nodes. I got actually 3 of the first nodes, so the price goes up for each one. But I don't know, Andy, do you have any thoughts on Playable?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've added my position. I've got 12 nodes now for them. And I think it's very telling that they launched basically at the tail end of a bull run, and they have almost exclusively existed in a bear market, and they did not throw in the towel. They did not fold like 95% of the other ones out there. They kept building, and they actually have been launching stuff and building stuff, and they have more planned, and they're putting so much time and energy and effort into the things they're building and launching. So I'm pretty excited about that one. That one's one of my biggest gaming position plays aside from Neoxa.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't know you were so big on it, so that's pretty cool. I have a bunch of Playable, so I think Playable right now is making me about $40 a day off of my nodes.
The nodes are very lucrative.
Yep.
I mean, they hit their all-time low back in June, and they're up 2,700% since then.
Yep.
2,700% since then, and they're still ranked 549. I mean, it's just, if they can get into the top 200 or even top 100, it'd just be one hell of a return.
Yep, absolutely. Marcel learned the node stuff from Andy. Yes, that's great. Which node project to invest in after Flux? What would be your node of choice after Flux?
If you have Flux, Neoxa, and Presearch, you might consider doing something that's a little bit like higher risk than, I mean, Neoxa is fairly risk, but they've been around for over a year now. Maybe one of the new emerging ones that have only launched in the past 2 to 3 months. Marcel in Sleep Money Club, but there's BlockX or more recently, well, there's a couple that are talking about today that I was looking at. NetSys is one I was looking at that Dodger had found. So there's several we're talking about in there that are pretty, like 5 or 6 different ones that are very new. So that might be if you're willing to toss some high risk money at it.
Okay, good answer. And by the way, more in Sleep Money Club, which I assume Marcel's part of Sleep Money Club if he learned all of his noting from you, but it could have been from YouTube.
Yeah, Marcel's in Sleep Money Club.
Okay, yep. So there'll be a lot in there. Are node projects passive? I'm going to say no. In theory, they kind of are, but they usually, there's quite a bit to get them set up. They're not just as simple as put in some money and then you'll start making some money. So I wouldn't think of them in passive in that way. I don't know, Andy, do you want to caveat that answer?
There's a bit of setup. I highly recommend nodeorbit.com for the hosting, and they do a lot of the setting up for you. They're not just a VPS, a virtual private server provider, where you have to log in to Linux and run a bunch of commands and stuff. They do all that for you. You just do a couple things in your crypto wallet and then send them the node information. So it's, I don't know, you do less than 2 hours of work, acquire the coins, set it up in your wallet, and then send them the information, and they do everything else, and then it's 100% hands-off passive. So I'd call nodes like 95 or 97% passive. I don't ever think about mine. They just make me money every day.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Let's see. We got some questions about Kadena. I'm going to ignore those because it's a sore subject and we're running out of time. So if you want to know about Kadena, go join Sleep Money Club and talk to Andy in there. Let's see. We got to find a good last minute. What do you think about XRP? Crypto Sensei is the big XRP guy. So he's coming on tomorrow. What I really like, I like having different perspectives. So Andy is kind of more, he loves Bitcoin. Crypto Sensei hates Bitcoin and loves Ripple. Okay, so it's tomorrow. Crypto Sensei is going to be on. It's going to be completely different. He's not as much. Well, he does have nodes as well too, but he hates Bitcoin. So two completely different perspectives. So we'll talk more about XRP. Andy, do you have any thoughts on XRP?
I really don't like XRP. I own none. I want, yeah. There's a good chance it'll do well and be a good investment, but I don't want anything to do with the central banking of crypto. And also, it's just, I mean, what's it ranked at today? I'm not interested purely based on the fact that it's ranked number 6. So, I mean, I don't know how crazy into it he is, but if it's like, it's gonna flip Bitcoin or something, oh my goodness, that is close to conspiracy speak to me.
That is definitely the narrative, is that Ripple will XRP. I always get in trouble. It's not actually called Ripple. It's the company Ripple that has produced XRP. But it will someday flip Bitcoin is the narrative.
They also have really, really nebulous background. I mean, it is Ripple and XRP the same thing. They've just changed their narrative since they originated. Lots of strong opinions about that one. I know lots of people. It's one of those like love it or hate it ones, and I wouldn't say I hate it, but I don't want any.
It's not your thing. Yeah, maybe sometime we should do a James, Andy, and Crypto Sensei, and we talk about Bitcoin and Ripple, and just get some back and forth. Not an argument, but a discussion. Yeah. You know, get all the points out there. That could be fun.
I will say I don't really know Crypto Sensei, but huge respect for all his success and stuff. I don't actually have anything against him or that position, and I don't honestly have any I have zero desire to actually fight with somebody over like Ripple versus Bitcoin or whatever. I don't actually care about that argument. It is interesting to discuss it in like what do you see the narrative around this certain thing, or what is the headwinds of this one, but I don't know. I'm not such a diehard Bitcoin head that I have to argue somebody about it.
Well, it would make good content, and so if you could get a little fired up about it and angry, that would really help with ratings. Yeah. So
I will Hulk out for you, James.
Thank you.
I'll pop some roids just before the stream.
Hey, what more can I ask for? You are truly a good friend. So last question, last minute update on BioFi, up 90% this month. So very happy to see that. Still some liquidity issues. They're working hard on getting this phone out. The phone could bring in a lot of potential revenue, which they're going to put a bunch into liquidity. So that will be amazing, but it's a kind of on a tear. There was some, I'm not going to call them bad actors, but there was some actors who had a bunch of BioFi that were looking to sell it all, and they have sold it all. So it looks like we're smooth sailing up for a bit. And yeah, as markets improve, Bitcoin and then AVAX kind of follows Bitcoin, and then a lot of the AVAX coins kind of follow AVAX. So AVAX is on a tear. So BioFi is on a tear. So awesome. Well, we'll close up there. Calls to action. Go subscribe to your friend Andy. If there's anyone here who watched this and stole, and it's stealing his knowledge, if you don't go subscribe to him on YouTube. And so just subscribe to him, okay? It means so much to us as YouTube, at least to me. It means so much, and it's so easy. So please go subscribe to him. If you would like to have more of a dose of Andy on a regular basis, I'll leave a link also to Sleep Money Club. Go try it out, at least the 7-day free trial. And hop in there. So thank you, audience. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you guys. I wish you the best in this upcoming bull market. And Andy, appreciate you as well. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking time out of your day to come inform my audience about what they should do to get ready for the bull market. And we'll talk more with you in the future.
Thank you, James. Always a pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Take care, everybody. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas